Right then, Manchester derby time. United versus City. And for once, well, the first time since 2015, United are actually ahead of Manchester City in the league, albeit by this much. This is a massive game for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and for Manchester United. A win sees us put 4 points in between United and City, which is a huge amount of points considering the time of year that we find ourselves in and the pressure that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under. This would represent a real weight off his mind and again prove that he has got the capabilities to manage Manchester United in the big games. So he has to get his selection right. Time and time again, we've seen him line up against certain managers, especially in the bigger games, and come away with the points, even when we go into these games lacking a little bit of confidence. Now, if Edinson Cavani is available for Manchester United, I'll have a lot more confidence going into this game. He's one of the players that we don't actually know what the script is with. So let's have a look. First and foremost, what we're going to be facing with Pep Guardiola. Pep is famous for the 4-3-3 system that he plays with Barcelona, with Manchester City, with Bayern Munich. Well, this season we've seen him line up in a 4-2-3-1. Commonly this season, he's also used the 4-3-3 as well. Edison is obviously going to be in goal with Ruben Dias ahead of him, alongside either Laporte or potentially John Stones, and we all hope it is John Stones in central defence. I think Laporte's fantastic. I think John Stones, let's just say not. It has been Stones more of late, and I think that's why Manchester City probably find themselves below us in the table. I just don't think he's all that. Kyle Walker's been an ever-present and a nightmare for opposition teams at right back, while Benjamin Mendy and Cancelo have shared the left-back position, although it has been Mendy mostly in recent weeks. Rodrigo usually joined in the midfield pivot either by Gundogan or Fernandinho, with Gundogan being more likely to start for them this weekend. Mahrez probably going to be preferred over Torres on the right wing, with Raheem Sterling on the left and Gabriel Jesus starting up front. City star man Kevin De Bruyne will also be starting, whether it's as a 10 in a 4-2-3-1 or as an 8 in the 4-3-3. And Kevin De Bruyne is Manchester City's star man. When you're talking about who the best midfielder is in Europe at the moment, Bruno Fernandes is in there. He's certainly a player that's made this a more even conversation. But one of the first names that springs to mind is Kevin De Bruyne. Since the start of last season, De Bruyne has been involved in more Premier League goals than any other player in the competition, with 26 assists and 15 goals to his name, 41 in total. When City are ticking and when City are moving, he is the orchestrator. It's bound to be no different this weekend in a fixture where I think United probably will fancy themselves going into this. But Kevin De Bruyne is undoubtedly the man on the pitch that you have to contain. He's got 12 goals in 13 games in all competitions for City this season, with 2 goals and 10 assists, which is more than any of his teammates. He averages 2.38 chances per 90, maintains a good 80% passing accuracy from 540 passes. It's a bit less than what Bruno's creating for United, 2.71 chances created per 90, but it's enough to prove that he's the guy that United have to maintain control over. Here's my United 11 for this weekend's game, though. I'm going with Hendo in net. I think De Gea, I don't know if he's still injured, but I don't have the confidence in him that I used to have, and I'm getting a confident vibe from Dean Henderson. So I'd play Dean Henderson. It'd be an enormous talking point, but it'd certainly deflect away from the Paul Pogba talking point. And I think it would be a massive bonus for Manchester United if we did. I think in recent games against Manchester City, David De Gea's inability to be able to play a ball upfield has really cost United. So I would go with Dean Henderson because he's just simply got better distribution and to me feels like a more confident player with the ball at his feet. We're going with the back three. And the back three has been largely successful against Manchester City, which is why we're keeping the back three for this game. Don't think how it failed, because it did. The back three did not work against Leipzig midweek, but it was a different system with a different manager and a different team and a different way of playing. Don't throw out the three at the back because it did not work on Tuesday night. The three at the back has been very effective against Guardiola's side, and I think it would maintain that effectiveness. That being said, I want to see Tuanzebe start. Tuanzebe, Maguire, Lindelof, because let's be honest, he's not going to make much changes in defence. There's no one else you can pick. I go with those three. Luke Shaw's going nowhere near this 11 for me. Tuanzebe, Maguire and Lindelof. And I think Maguire and Lindelof have been pretty ordinary, to be honest, of late. But I still think they're miles ahead of Luke Shaw. Tellers and Wan-Bissaka as fullbacks and or wingbacks. And I think Wan-Bissaka's got a game that's much more suited to him. Someone's going to come up against him and try and beat him 1v1. He was terrible Tuesday night. But much like the system, this suits him more. This game suits him more. Manchester City suits United more. They're going to push forward with 3 players, and we're going to push back with our players. Sterling's going to come up against Tuanzebe and Wan-Bissaka and be found wanting again. We're going to see Mahrez come up on the other side against Lindelof and Tellez. They've got pace there, and you've got someone who can cover into the channel. And then you've got Maguire and Tuanzebe to keep Jesus quiet, and I think that works. In midfield, I'm going with Donny van de Beek and I'm going with Fred. But I also wouldn't be upset to see Scott McTominay in here, because Scott McTominay can do that job quite well of blocking off the passing lanes. Maybe someone that's going to work hard in midfield. But I'm putting Fred onto Kevin De Bruyne, and I'm going to make sure that he's not able to breathe. I want him having someone on his touch constantly, just being in there around him. And I went with Donny van de Beek over McTominay and over Matic because I found this Manchester United team is easily pressed. And Donny van de Beek is the one player that is press resistant in midfield and allows us to move the ball up the pitch. Even Pogba's not press resistant and finds himself getting pressed. At times, Pogba looks incredible when players are coming up and trying to rush him off the ball, but he doesn't like taking the ball with his back to goal, turning and moving it up the pitch. That's not really his game. But it is Donny van de Beek's game. Also, Donny van de Beek has got that ability to be able to sit in a disciplined position. That's why I go with him alongside Fred. I'm going with work rate off the ball, and I'm going with quality on the ball. That's why those two are in midfield. Bruno plays in the free role. Of course he does. He'll also come back and make it a more compact 3 in midfield. We've seen how many tackles he puts in per game. That's going to be an asset that he brings to the table. On the right-hand side, we go with Greenwood. But I also wouldn't be shocked to see somebody like Dan James featuring, to be honest, looking to try and hit them on the counter. Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side. And even though I don't know, as I record this, what the situation is with the fitness of Edinson Cavani, if he's fit, Cavani has to play. He's the sort of forward that's going to get a lot of time, especially if they play John Stone. He's going to absolutely savage him. And that's where United can make some moves in this game. Now let's have a look how United can cut about this Manchester City team. So the key to defending against any top side is to move the ball around quickly and keep it tight at the back to ensure that defensive shape can get maintained. Every game, Manchester City have 4 dangerous attackers operating high up the pitch, and they'll rotate in position in an attempt to pull defenders out and exploit the space in behind. This is why Luke Shaw can't be anywhere near this fucking team, because he's got the positional discipline of a cat in a field. Whenever Guardiola's side are struggling to find an opening, you start to see them switching a ball across field, trying to pull the defence apart. If United can hold their defensive shape, including the 2 midfielders as part of a low block, which we're definitely going to be playing, then it's going to be hard for City to find and maintain the space. The key to this game is it will be a back 5, and I have no qualms about it whatsoever being a back 5, is that back 5 maintaining shape and intelligence and discipline, cutting off the passing lanes from Van der Beek and from Fred. The other area that Manchester United are going to win this game is by pressing from the front. Greenwood's not the best at it, but he will do it if everyone around him does it. Cavani's impressed me with how he presses, but no one does it better than Marcus Rashford. When the ball is further up the pitch, United are going to have to strike in transition, and the most effective way for that is obviously pressing from the front and trying to force errors out of City's defensive players. Again, especially if it's John Stones that plays, he's got clangers in him all day long. Guardiola might have spent million on 3 new defences that he's had in his time at City, but numerous instances in the past couple of seasons, when they're pressured, City force errors at the back, and that's what stopped them being a Champions League winning side. United needs to use all of our attackers to apply as much pressure as possible at that City defence and make it difficult for them to play out. Once possession is won, a quick ball through the middle, lofted over the top, or around the defence is going to find Manchester United 1v1. You can picture it now. You've seen it a million times. Marcus Rashford going into the box, 1v1 with a defender to try and get in on the keeper. You've seen it a million times. That's how this derby's going down. There's no betting sponsor this week, but if I was telling you to put a bet on, it'd be Marcus Rashford for an anytime goal, because that's what I think is going to happen this weekend. Let me know in the comments if you agree, if you disagree. United can beat these. United have to trust in that back three, though. That's where we're going to find the success, and I hope the confidence in that system hasn't been rocked by its absolute shit show that we saw on Tuesday night against Leipzig. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.